the best advisors out there that I'm working with are earning really, really good money because they have figured out strategies of communication to help customers to not operate in an upsell commission mentality, to realize that you're there to help and serve, not just to rip people off and take advantage of them. Our ultimate responsibility is to collect customers and help them to come back to us, the forever client matrix. And that's everywhere. That's with your friends, it's in your relationships, it's in every part of life.
That's right.
But it's important that people are learning on purpose, not just by accident, and taking massive steps. Not even massive steps, just easy steps.
Connect Coaching Unplugged.
Good morning, everyone on Facebook and wherever you are watching this from. It is Kallum and Conor on the Connect Unplugged podcast number 30.
Wow.
30 pods. And today we have an amazing friend and guest, Kieran Stack. Welcome, and I'll let Kallum tell the world a little bit about you.
Kieran, great to have you on. Finally, it has been a very long time of consistently calling you and following you up to get you on the show, which is how incredibly busy you are. I'll introduce you. Kieran is a service department training and coaching specialist with extensive experience working with prestigious brands like BMW, Ferrari, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz. Kieran Stack specializes in elevating service departments through comprehensive training and coaching. From leadership development to profitability strategies, Kieran transforms service teams from the top down. His focus on equipping service advisors with practical, real-world skills ensures they're set up for success in today's competitive market. Whether it's boosting performance, enhancing customer satisfaction, or driving profitability, Kieran's tailored approach consistently delivers measurable results and lasting impact for world-class automotive brands. Kieran, great to have you here, buddy.
Wow, thanks for that. That's a hell of a welcome. I think my mum wrote that for me, did she? Because I certainly didn't.
Well, that's how we see you in our eyes. We've been watching you closely, and it's been one of those situations where you have achieved a lot of success quietly. You've been working diligently in the background. You've been implementing everything that you've learned along the way, and you've had a really sharp rise in your industry. But just as success can go after doing the training that you've done in the past, you were a big standout, but you didn't really announce that to everyone. How did you get into this space in the first place? It doesn't seem it's very, very niched.
Highly niched.
So yeah, can you just unpack probably a little bit more about what it is that you actually do, and how you get started?
Yeah. It is very niche. You're right. And as I speak for the first moment or so, I'll give everyone the opportunity to tune into my accent. I'm Irish, as you both know, and I've been in Australia now for the last 11 years. 11 years. It's been really, really good to me. It's been really, really good to me. And I guess I came across at that age where it's time to mature. It's time to grow up. It's time to actually figure out what you want to achieve in life. And sometimes you don't know that's happening while it's happening. And that's been a catalyst without knowing that it is. But back to your original question, yes, I am in a specific niche. And the niche I'm in is automotive service departments. Specifically, I had franchise dealerships, which is the likes of the brands you've spoken about, whether it's for the manufacturer or it's for dealer groups. And I get the opportunity to work with OEMs in Australia, New Zealand, across Southeast Asia, and dealer groups locally as well. And when I say locally, I'm rarely at home, which in many ways has got its pros and cons. But here we are. I got into the industry straight out of university. I studied automotive engineering, and it's given me an opportunity to. So I left university, studied automotive engineering, and I took the opportunity to work at a BMW dealership on the west coast of Ireland, County Clare, where I'm from. And I worked there for about 6 months. Then I got an opportunity to work at their Nissan branch, and the parts manager was on holiday, so I said I'd jump in. And parts manager was away for 2 weeks, then he was away for 4 weeks, and then the 6 weeks, I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, is this guy coming back, or what's the story? And they were like, yeah, he's coming back. And I was only a kid. I was only 22 years of age. I didn't know what was really happening. But I ended up staying there for about 6 months. And unfortunately, the GFC hit Ireland pretty hard in 2008. And I was going to say a victim of that. I'm not going to say a victim because I wouldn't be where I am if it didn't happen. So,
Recipient.
yeah, absolutely. We're recipient of it. And I remember arriving to work one day and the doors were shut and everyone was outside. And I said, what's going on? And the administrators were inside. And I'm like, oh no, I don't have a job now. Oh no. So the phone rang a few days later and I'll never forget the call. It was the organization who had been allocated that new Nissan dealership in the city, in Limerick. And they rang me and they said, we're going to need a parts manager and we heard that you're doing good things and we'd like to have a chat with you. And I remember the chat, I remember the conversation, I remember the opportunity that Pat Tulin and Gene O'Malley gave me in 08, 09. And it's really allowed me to open my eyes to business. And I learned so much from those people, so much. I made every mistake. I learned every lesson, not every lesson, lots of them. And I worked there for 5 years with them and it was good. It was really, really good. In that time, I also met my now wife, and she's Australian, and she's the reason why I moved back to Australia. I moved to Australia in 2013. So yeah, moved to Australia in 2013, and then I moved into service, which is in after sales, which I specialize in. You got the parts side, and you got the service side. The service side of pretty much the people you meet when you come into the commit to service your vehicle or repair your vehicle. You got a manager, you got service advisors, and then you got the workshop, the technicians in the back. Now, I don't work with the technicians, but what I work with now is the advisors and the managers. But in my time in Australia, I had 7 jobs in 7 years. Now, some people will go major red flag, and people used to tell me that, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, or I'm not getting what I need to get from this role. Like for me, it's never about the job. It's about how I can advance and how I can get better. Now, in many ways, when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was looking for that title. I was looking for the title. The title mattered more than the money because I wanted to project what I was worth.
Yeah.
And it was, you won't know it. You won't experience it, I'm sure, which is insecurities, lack of self-belief, and leveraging a business card that says manager on it to make yourself look great. And I see this every now and again with people I work with and try to help them become aware that I'm actually a recovering insecure person as well. I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. Just ask my wife; she'll tell you. But we're all on a journey. So I worked as a service advisor and service manager in different dealerships across Melbourne from 2013 to 2018, and then something happened significantly in 2017, and I don't know. Actually, Kallum, I remember speaking to you at this time, and something happened in 2017 that was quite significant, but it's going to roll back a little bit more. Back to 2015, I was working at a BMW dealership, and a really good friend of mine, and someone that both of you know, and he highly respects both of you, gentleman by the name of Micheál O'Keefe. Remember that name?
Yeah.
A guy that's a year younger than me from the west coast of Ireland, from the east coast of Ireland, southeast, in fact, Wexford. We went to university together in Cork in Ireland, and he came across to Australia the year before me. He was in Sydney. And we always meant to catch up with each other. But in Ireland, we don't have road signs that have got 4 digits in them. They only have 3. But in Australia, it's massive. And we struggled to find time to come and see each other. So he was down in Melbourne in 2015 for a course that he was delivering. And I'm like, you're delivering a course? What are you doing now? He said, I'm working for an OH&S company delivering training. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. How did you get into that? And he told me how he got into it. He told me what he was doing, all this training, all the trainings that he'd done with you guys. And he mentioned 3 letters to me, and I'll never forget the letters. NLP. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he told me what it meant. He told me what it stood for. He told me what was involved in it. And I was just intrigued by what's going on in his brain and how he developed himself, and also what he was getting paid, which is a lot more than me. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So it went on a journey, and he explained to me in that conversation that like personal development doesn't happen by accident. It's important that you're taking massive action on your journey.
Oh.
And what I discovered from him was that he became a big reader of content. And by the end of the conversation, he had somehow managed to get me to ask him a question around, what book would you ask me to read? What book would you recommend for me to read? And he said, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Oh. Now, he told me that book, and he said, I've actually read this book so many times, and I've actually never opened it. I'm like, what are you talking about? How can you read a book without opening a book? And he said, I can, and I figured out it was audiobooks, Audible. And he sent me the book, and he rang me 2 weeks later, and I answered, and he said, how's the book going? And he asked me a few other questions. How's the book going? I'm like, I haven't started it yet. He said, why is that? You've not been going to work. I'm like, no, I've been going to work. I thought you said you were going to read it. I said, yeah, but I haven't had time. And he said, oh, well, you need to find the time because if nothing changes, nothing changes. He rang me the following week. I didn't answer. And then I rang him the following week because I'd actually consumed the book. And it's been game changing. And that book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, I've read it 50 times. And every time I read it, I get something new from it. Absolutely game changing, as you both know.
Cool.
But then I started to consume content. And then I finally, I went to the one day in Melbourne with, I think that's where I met you, Callum. And you had a good conversation with me around, hey, you got the opportunity to go from here to here, but you need to do these courses. I'm like, cool. And I left it because, again, money was always tight. I had 2 kids at that stage. You know, I know I have 4, but money was always tight. And spending money on courses that had no likely or no predictable or no guaranteed results, scary as hell. And you both know this because, again, you've both been selling courses for a long, long time and helping people get where they need to get to. But if you don't invest in yourself and believe in yourself, you're not going to get there. So in 2017, I registered for the course in Melbourne. It was going to be in August. And I remember ringing you, Callum. And you rang me and I answered. I think that was it. I remember speaking to you. And you rang me when I was on the way to the airport. And he said, where you at? I said, I'm on the way to the airport. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm going home. And I said, my dad's died. Oh. And then the phone stopped. And you were like, oh my gosh. So sorry, etc., etc. And I said, I wanted to come, but I won't be coming. He said, that's fine. We'll put you in November. And I came to Sydney in November. But let me go back to that exact date. And it's the 27th, July 2017. Never forget it. I went home and my dad was a school teacher. He's a teacher in the same school for 32 years. And my mom was a teacher. 3 of my siblings are teachers. And I'm the car guy. And I went to that funeral. And in Ireland, we have this custom where people would come to the house, and our tradition mother, they come to the house and there'll be an open casket. And long story short, 2,500 people came out to pay their respects to my dad that day. 2,500 people. Wow. There was queues of a kilometer from the house of people waiting, and people were serving sandwiches and teas and coffees and on the street. Like, it was powerful. And I heard stories about my dad that I never actually heard before. And people say how he impacted their lives. And if that stuff doesn't change you, nothing will. Long story short, I came home a different person. And I started to take massive action, massive action, because I realized I didn't just want to make a living, I wanted to make a difference. Now, I think I've told both of you that story before. I'm not sure, but Conor, I think, but maybe not Cal, but Cal, I remember speaking to you.
Not in this much detail.
Well, because I knew I was still coming to that training, but I didn't just come back, flick the switch, different person. I built on purpose. Took the training, did my prac, signed up for Master Prac, did my trainer's training last year, and went on the journey. And it allowed me to enter into an opportunity with BMW Group Australia, and I worked there for a couple of years as a trainer. And then since then, I've been working for myself as an independent contractor, consultant, trainer, support, coach, activist for our industry. And I absolutely love what I do, but I wouldn't have done it without a catalyst. I wouldn't have done it without someone kicking me in the ass to go, hey, you are better than where you're at. You can achieve this if you put the action in. And I think the niche, I get asked to do sales training and work with construction and furniture and all this. I'm like, no, this is my baby. This is what I do. This is what I live and breathe. And again, I wouldn't be where I am without certain things happening in my life. And it's not that it's happening to you, it's happening for you. And again, in many ways, that's some of the language you guys have taught me in the past as well. So that's a bit of a 10-minute conversation about me and what I'm up to and how taking action in your life and leveraging the opportunities that occur either for you, that are for you, and learning from it. So yeah.
you've got a bit of an unfair advantage because you're Irish and can tell a good story. And I can see why you were so great at what you do, because, you had us hook, line, and sinker in that whole journey. And, there's different catalysts for everyone. And my dad passing away was definitely one for me as well. That also having people that believe in you, that seems like it was like a key factor in what your experience was. And I feel like when you experience that for the first time and you have somebody that absolutely believes in you more than anybody else in the whole world has ever believed in you before, and you reap the rewards of that, and you go through that journey of actually creating and taking the action and making that happen, it's almost like the next rite of passage is to do that for somebody else. And it sounds like with the service teams that you work with, there's probably a lot of those same issues that they're being faced with in their jobs, maybe, feeling maybe a lack of finances, self-belief, confidence, certainty around, their job and all those sorts of things. So as those stories and those journeys that you've been on, experiences that you had, and has that shaped the way that you teach these people in these service departments?
It does. 100% it does. Yeah. And I rarely tell that story. Again, some people have heard it, but I rarely tell it. And, I get quite personal in my trainings, and it's not a transaction for me. It's a connection. And some of my best friends are clients, either current clients or past clients. And again, you try and surround yourself with people who you like and who are like you, and who cause you to become better and question you and call you out on your bullshit. But you're right. It takes someone to believe in you and see where the opportunities are. Because I remember, and I say this all the time, like, to service advisors or service managers that are in front of me, I have lived and breathed what you do. And this is why my niche is so niche. It's like, this is all I do. I don't do anything else but this area of expertise, because I've made a lot of the mistakes that they haven't made before. And for me, and just some of the trainings where I've met you guys along my journey, is that communication piece is critical. It's so critical, because it's not just about someone else believing in you. It's about you believing in yourself.
Yeah.
And without the right tooling, without the right sharpening and continuous sharpening, you can't get better. And if you're, and I think I say this all the time to people who ask me what I do, and ask me to maybe, they're interested in what I do, and maybe hiring me for supporting their teams. And they'll say, so give me a description of what you do, Kieran. And I say to them, I help service advisors stop saying stupid shit that gets them into trouble. And they laugh, because the advisor's communication skills are normally at level 4 out of 10, and they stay at level 4 and they don't advance, because my sessions are made up of content and information and language patterns that are backed by neuroscience, backed by psychology, backed by linguistic, NLP, backed by all these things that work. Because the majority, and this is why my industry is quite different than most others, is because, again, Kallum, you bought a new car recently. Congratulations. Now, but when you bring it in for service, they're going to replace your oil. They're going to replace your air filter. They're going to replace your oil filter. They might replace your coolant. They might replace your differential oil. They might replace a wheel bearing. They might replace a thermostat. They might replace an injector if these things go wrong, or if it needs maintenance. Have you ever seen an injector? Have you ever seen a radiator? Have you ever seen a thermostat? Have you ever seen your engine oil? Have you ever seen a wheel bearing? I know you probably have, Cal, but
A couple of those, not all.
But most people have not seen those components.
Yeah.
So, and I say this to people all the time, like, in the service department, we sell, so 99% of what we sell is invisible. 99%. And there's only really one component, other than tires, which you can only see 40% of. There's only one component that a customer can actually see, touch, smell, taste, and hear. Do you know what it is?
Face.
No. Right in front of your face, if you will. Windscreen. And what am I doing?
The wipers.
Wipers. That's the only thing that someone can say. And And although the stuff I do is quite basic, and when they get it, they get it, and they start to speak differently. Like I got an email just before this session from someone saying that just feedback that customers have that they've been given to the manager about their service advisors about how they were made feel, how they were made feel, and the communication strategies around selling invisible stuff, the sales strategies around selling invisible stuff is dramatic. Like here's one for you. Again, it depends on who this goes out to. I know it'll go to your crew and probably go out to my LinkedIn as well. But I say this all the time to people: if out of every 10 quotes of additional work that you might get in your workshop, out of the 6 or 7 of those additional quotes will have wiper blades on them, because wipers are a consumable. They wear out every 6-12 months. Well, if you're living in the sun where you guys live, maybe in sooner. But they're a rubber compound that deteriorates due to exposure to the elements, be it cold, be it hot, whatever. They shouldn't last you 2 years. They're designed to last a year, maybe 18 months. But some people use them quite a lot, and they won't clean them and they won't maintain them, and they need replacing because they're leaving marks on the screen. So in automotive, we have a few different words. We have wiper blades streaking, wiper blades juddering, or wiper blades, what's the other word we use? Streaking, juddering, and smearing. And these are the labels we put on them for years. But what does smearing mean? Smearing means that it's leaving marks in the windscreen. It's not clearing properly. Streaking means the exact same thing. And juddering means that they're actually not that good. They're heavily worn. But we don't tell our customers that. We'll say, hi, Connor, your car needs wipers are smeared. Do you want to get them done? And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Because 99% of what we sell in service is invisible, but only 1% of them is visible, it's important that we ask a very specific question. And I'm learning all the time, right? I got invited into a dealership recently, and there was a female service advisor, non-technical, and the manager says she's outselling the other guys, male, 3-1 on wiper blades. And I can't figure out how she's doing it. And I came in and I listened and I observed and I got it. And she didn't know what I was doing, but I got what she was doing.
Her secrets.
Her secrets. But in many ways, they were unconscious secrets, because she doesn't know what everyone else is saying. She's just saying what makes sense to her.
Mm-hmm.
So what she would say, so what a lot of people would say is, hi, Connor, your car needs wiper blades. They're smearing the screen. The technician found them. And then the customer goes, on my car, my blue Camry. Yeah, and your Camry, yeah, definitely. It definitely needs them. Are you sure it's my car? Yeah, definitely. Which is push. And now the customer's like, hang on, because the customer is defending this failure.
Doesn't believe that it needs changing.
Because they haven't what?
Seen it.
Haven't seen it. So what this girl, her name was Jane, she's fantastic. And she said, every customer, she would say, hi, Connor, a technician has checked your car for you this morning. There's a couple of things that he's noticed. The first one is your wiper blades. Now, your wiper blades are not clearing the windscreen as effectively as they could. They're leaving little marks on them. Have you noticed that? Because if the answer is yes, perfect. We've noticed it as well. We'll get that organized and get them replaced for you. You're looking at an investment of $158 to get them done. Or if the customer says, no, I haven't noticed them, you'd say, oh, well, we have noticed it. We've tried to clean them as best possible. It's totally up to you if you want to get them done or not. You're looking at $158, you can do them today, or you can leave it until you notice it and want to get them done. Because wiper blades are a 2-minute changeover. There's no real profit in wiper blades. However, what a lot of people will do is they'll push in the wipers, and then they'll come on to the next one, which is brakes. So we've checked your brakes for you as well, and we found that your brakes need replacing as well, and they're $687. If you've pushed the wipers onto me, what am I going to say to you? And I said, no, what am I going to say to you about the brakes?
Push back
and go, no, because you lied to me about the wipers, and now you're lying to me about the brakes, and I don't believe you, and now I'm never coming back, and I'm going to tell all my friends, and I'm going to go somewhere else. Compared to, yes, you haven't noticed the wipers, that's okay. We've cleaned them up for you. Whenever you're ready, come and see us. Now, Connor, what you won't have noticed is your front brake pads almost at their wear limits. There's about 1.5 mil of life left until they're going to start making noise or the light comes on. 1.5 mil is less than the thickness of a credit card. You've got a couple of options. You can get them done today, which is going to make sure that you're safe and reliable. However, the thinner that your brake pads get, the less effective they are in an emergency braking situation. And if you leave them longer than maybe a couple of weeks, you run the risk of your brake rotors or brake discs needing a replacement as well, which is going to cause you to go, it's going to cause a higher repair cost when the time comes. Now, your total investment today is going to be $318 supplied, fitted, installed, nowhere to pay for the brakes. But if it needs rotors in a couple of weeks' time, it's going to be closer to $1,000. Which would you prefer? Like,
I'm gonna go change my brakes right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
on your
my
brand new Kia.
Let me get my credit card to see.
Hey guys, Kallum and Conor here from Connect Coaching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Unplugged podcast. We're jumping in to let you know about something really exciting, the Forever Client Matrix.
Absolutely. What we love doing is lighting people up and having them realize that their future is bright and most importantly, making a difference in this world. So we are very excited to be able to share this with you.
If you want to turn every prospect into a Forever Client, then please click on the link below in the description and get instant access now to your preview of the Forever Client Matrix.
Enjoy.
You're painting a picture, but what so many people...
Language.
It's all language, but it's tonality, it's conviction, it's belief. And again, I know I was a little bit late for this call, and I do apologize, but I was on a call this morning presenting some of the softwares that I've developed to help service departments communicate more effectively.
Develop software.
Software. And it's pretty much like if because 75% of our service advisors now are non-technical, so they don't come from a technician background. They don't know what the differences are between different components. Now, I'm not going to patronize and say no one knows anything. I'm not saying that, but most of them are learning by accident. A technician becomes a technician after 4 years of an apprenticeship, learning. And a service advisor becomes a service advisor after a 4-minute interview. Right? That's how it happens. And suddenly they're a service advisor and they're expected to know what all these things are. And it's impossible. Because if you don't know what a fuel injector is, if I asked you what a fuel injector was right now, you didn't know, what would you do? Google it. Right?
What's the fuel injector?
You Google it. So what I've developed is pretty much Google for service advisors to help them be aware of what things are, what they do, and the consequences of not getting something done. But I couldn't call it Google for service advisors. So I called it a technical search engine. Because you can search engines.
Oh, okay.
Search engine, get it? Dad jokes?
I got it. I'm looking.
So it outlines the consequences of inaction as well, on top of, hey, you need a new fuel injector. If you haven't, you may not have noticed it, but the long-term impacts of not having a working fuel injector is this issue here, and that could equal $3,000 in about 6 months' time.
Exactly. It's the long-term impacts. You're spot on. The same as I did earlier on with brakes. So again, Conor and Cal, you guys are used to FFB, which is feature, function, benefit.
Yeah.
Familiar with that? So in service, we're very different. We don't sell feature, function, benefit.
Outcomes.
Consequence. So this is what it is. This is what it does. This is what happens if you don't replace it. And there's really only 4 other industries like that. And you may not have thought of this before. So the majority of my family are teachers. I'm the car guy, now kind of teacher. And my sister's a dentist. And she's actually in the feature, function, consequence game as well.
Yeah.
Which is, this is what it is, this is what it does, and this is what happens if you don't replace it. I'm going to get it done. So it's that shock and all. And again, Invisalign and stuff like that is their benefits for sure. But when it comes to the decay in your teeth, you don't get it done, you're in trouble. Same as extended warranties. Like, there's a consequence to not having one, which is the risk of not having it, like, which is peace of mind. The same as health insurance. Like, you get it just in case. The same as life insurance. You get it just in case, but we're all going to die anyway, so you should have life insurance for your family. But all of those things give us peace of mind. And the same way as when someone is pitching to you that your car needs wipers and you're pushing it on me and I haven't seen it. Now I don't have any peace of mind about you.
Yeah.
You're the one that's pushing shit on me that I don't believe the car needs. And now you're trying to upsell me brakes. And I don't use the term upsell at all. You know, most automotive dealerships do. I'm actually a recovering upseller. When people say to you,
what are the symptoms?
What's that? What are the symptoms? Yeah,
The symptoms of an upseller.
Unmanaged
Unmanaged enthusiasm.
what's in it for me? And Hormozy talks about this all the time, and it's you smell that? It's just me. Is that my commission breath? And you can all smell commission breath, and it stinks. So I know I've gifted you guys with some socks in the last little while. Yeah,
Those socks are incredible.
What color socks are you got, Connor?
I got the Irish
Green ones.
green ones, and the yellow smiley faces.
Okay, so one's the same. The other smiley faces.
What is that? Have a nice. Stop upselling and simply sell.
No upselling and simply sell. If the car needs it or could benefit from it, it's our responsibility to help the customer make an informed buying decision by creating a compelling message that helps them say yes. That's what our job is. And ultimately, and again, I know it's the same with your business, guys. Like this is the ultimate responsibility of any business is to
It's mine.
the right ones, help customers want to come back.
Yes.
Like you can't
You're the forever client matrix.
client. That's exactly what it is, guys. Like they help them fall in love with you. But the thing about it is that in many ways, you can't just become that. You got to choose to be that. And then you need, going back to our initial conversation, you also need someone to call you out and go, you have potential. You are able. However, if you don't do these certain things, you will not get the outcome that we're looking for you to get or you need to get. Hence why, have any of you got the orange ones?
No.
The orange ones. You won't like these ones. You love them, right?
What do you have to do to get the orange ones?
Here we go. There we go. Here we go. Ready to see it? What does that say?
Skills pay bills.
Skills pay bills. And what's the emoji?
It's your brain. Where I am.
Raise the emoji because skills pay bills. The more effective you are, the more money you can make. And if you're not in a situation right now that you're making enough money, that is your fault, and there's no one coming to fucking save you. There's no one coming to save you. Is there help out there? Absolutely. That's what I do. That's what you guys do. But people shouldn't see that as a cost. And Cal, I did until you helped me to go, here, you're not happy right now. What? This, and this. And we've seen people achieve this, and this as a result of this. It's a small investment. We can help you with a support platform to pay as you go. But if you don't do this, nothing changes. And that's not forcing. That's just you helping that customer make an informed buying decision about the consequences that will happen if you don't get something done, which is your fucking job. Like, people just are getting better by accident, guys. They're getting better by just tripping over stuff that's in front of them and going, ouch, that hurt. And they do it again and again. Or they'll go, oh, I'm going to move that out of my way. Or I'm going to do something different. But the beauty of training and the beauty, again, we're all trainers, we're all helpers, we're all supporters, is that it's our responsibility to help people. But there's so many advisors and managers out there, service advisors and managers out there that have had the 3 C's of service advisor training. You know what they are? And you guys can steal this, right?
Tell us.
The 3 C's of service advisor training, okay, is, right, you got the job. Training, there's your computer. There's your chair. See you later. I'm in my office if you need me. And we leave it up to chance. There's your computer, there's your chair, see you later. The 3 C's of service advisor training. The 3 C's of most organizations training. Figure it out for yourself.
It is, yeah.
And then we've got this massive churn of people. The job isn't too hard. It's just that we make it hard. We make it hard. We make it stressful. We make it long. But the best advisors out there that I'm working with are earning really, really good money because they have figured out strategies of communication to help customers to not operate in an upsell commission mentality, to realize that you're there to help and serve, not just to rip people off and take advantage of them. Our ultimate responsibility is to collect customers and help them to come back to us, the forever client matrix. And that's everywhere. That's with your friends. It's in your relationships. It's in every part of life.
That's right.
But it's important that people are learning on purpose, not just by accident, and taking massive steps. Not even massive steps. Just easy steps.
Yeah.
Like you guys put on a session last night. I didn't make it, but you put on a free session last night that could cause anybody to come along and listen and go, yeah. And I actually never knew that before. That's really interesting. And there's probably an opportunity for them then to go to the next stage and go, actually, I will get the rotors done. Actually, you know what? I will get the air conditioning treatment done. Actually, I will get the air from the fuel injection cleaned done. Actually, I will get the wheel alignment. Actually, I will buy my tires from you enough from anywhere else. That's the forever client, but it starts with one conversation. Yeah. And if you're not getting better on purpose, you're getting better by accident, and it's inappropriate. It just takes longer.
It takes longer. I think natural talent will take you so far, but the refinement comes with training.
Comes with training. comes with training. Yeah, 100%. And right now, the three of us are still in training. I've got a training today. Like you got your own trainings that you were on a journey towards. Whether it's a book, whether it's a mentor, everyone's on a journey. Nobody knows it all, and we should never claim to. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Tell me how I really feel. A little bit passionate.
Well, that's good, man. We can hear it come through, and I think what has stemmed from all of this is you. Yeah, you actually have to do the work. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to success. You have to put in the work, and those that do reap the rewards. Those that don't will continue to look outside and say it's luck. And I think that you've nailed it within your niche. You know, with what you do and the journey that you had to go through. I say had to, but you know, I guess chose, if you want to play cause and effect at 100%, that you chose to go through in order to get there. You can now help others to be inspired to do the same thing, and maybe they don't have to wait as long. Maybe they don't have to go through and have such a pivotal moment in their life before the lights go on and go, I want to make a difference in the world but I have to start with myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you
Very
are
inspiring.
responsible. Yeah, I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate you guys as well. We've had many conversations of inspiration. Actually, Conor, I remember reading you about 2 years ago, and it was one of the trainings with you guys. You had to write down your goals. Actually,
Oh,
yeah, remember that conversation?
yeah.
So, it was a room of 40 people. It was in Sydney. It was Prac in Sydney in 2017. And one of them was a goal setting thing where you had to. I want you to write down I want you to write where you are in 5 years' time, 2022. So it was 2017. I had to write where I am in 2022. Now I'm surrounded by 40 people, a lot of them older than me, and I'm looking at them and they're just writing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna write. I don't know what to write. And as well as that, I've even got my board up here as well. And I was supposed to write all my limiting beliefs on the back of the board.
Oh, yeah.
But I had such limiting beliefs that I had a limiting belief about writing them on the board in case they were limiting beliefs, that I had a belief about limiting myself. So I'm actually not going to write them I wrote my name on the board. That was it. Whilst other people in the room I'm like, anyway, that was the board, which I still have up here, which I'm very proud of. Not as proud as you for breaking 5 with them. I saw that.
Well,
6 was it? So
that's because I had people believing in me.
all that energy. And then, yeah, so the goals. And I wrote down on the sheet of paper, like about 5 lines. And this is 2017. I'm still a service advisor at a Mazda dealership. 5 months after my dad has passed away. Just during Prac, whatever day of Prac it was. Prac is a 6-day, 7-day program, whatever it is. And it was one of those days. And I wrote, it's 2020, it's the 1st of November, 2022. And I'm living in my 5-bedroom house in Berwick. When I live in Berwick. At that stage, I was in a 3-bedroom with my wife, happily married, with my 4 kids. Now, at that stage, I only had 3. And Nathan wasn't even in the oven, right? And they were even named. Like, Nathan wasn't even born, and he was named. And I run my own automotive training company. I was still a fucking service advisor at a Mazda dealership. I hadn't even been through my corporate training, or I hadn't been through my corporate experience at a BMW group. I hadn't been through that. But I wrote it down, what my goals are. And what else was there? I have a net worth of, I won't go there. And I travel the world visiting dealerships and supporting people in automotive, or something along those lines. I could put it out now, but I won't. But I think I sent it to you, a screenshot of it. But
yeah, I remember.
I wrote on a little bit sheet of paper. Actually, hang on. It's old. Still, you know, all my shirts. No, I can't find it. I thought it was there. It's not. Don't worry. Anyway, I did that, and I rang you. You were one of the first people I rang about it, Conor. I found this piece of paper. I'm reading it going, this is 6 years on after I wrote it, not 5. 6 years on after I wrote it, I'm like, and I ran into my wife and I said, I wrote this in 2017. She's like, fuck off. I'm dead set serious. I wrote this in 2017.
Amazing. It's absolutely amazing how that happens.
And I'd never really looked at it. And it's not that I didn't believe it. It's just that, you know, the way you put a goal in front of you, you have to mirror every day, say it to yourself every single day, the affirmations and so forth. Yeah, you can do that. But I didn't do that. I took fucking action. And I've read 1,000 books in 6-7 years. I've invested, don't tell my wife how much I've invested in my brain, because skills pay bills, right? And it's just paid massive dividends, but I'm still learning and I'm still growing and I'm still out of my depth every now and again, but it's causing me to swim and it's causing me to be in front of
Rise to the occasion.
yeah, absolutely. But it's a self-belief as well, and that's coming with time, and that comes with anyway, that's my journey, that's my story, that's where I'm at, and it's fun. And I really appreciate both of you for just having my back. And like, we've had many conversations through the years. Some of them may have been a little bit of self-doubt every now and again, and some of them would have been a little bit ecstatic and enthusiastic like this one is. But yeah, anyone I was encouraged to find a mentor. Like, don't put it down to what it's costing you. Like, look at even these guys. Like, look at the runs they've had in the board. Look at the success that they've got. Not on a personal, but the success they've gotten and helped other people achieve. Same with myself. Like, you're only as good as the people who say that you're good, not how good you think you are, how good you say you are. And that's you fooling yourself. And there's a lot of those people out there. So yeah, find a mentor, find something that you're really passionate about and you really enjoy. I guess passion and enjoyment are the same thing, right? You both love what you do. You do it for free if you had to, but you don't. You get paid, which is really, really good, and it helps too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This conversation can go on forever. I think we need to get you back, Kieran. And I know it's probably going to take us 6 to 12 months to get you back.
This is podcast 30. Maybe podcast 60 will have a reunion.
There you go.
Or 101 for your service
Oh,
101.
nice one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Good work. All right, guys. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for having me
I
on.
really appreciate you. I think
Kieran, thank you.
Our community can learn from you, and I am serious about wanting to get you back. You had a big event this morning with a big group in New Zealand. We're grateful that you were able to make it today, but yeah, when we can, I'd love to get you back, and yeah, I think there's a lot more we can learn now.
Mate, you're so inspirational.
Yeah.
I know that's not your intention, but you absolutely are.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Again, it's to inspire action in people to take action in themselves.
That's right.
Because we all have potential. We all have it. I remember, Conor, I will just go quickly say this. I remember being on a call with you, and there was a metaphor that you used that, like, nobody, when you're in grade 6, you're like, yeah, grade 6, it's tough on day 1. And then at the end of the year, end of grade 6, you're like, oh, you gotta go to grade 7? It's pain. But you're forced to fucking move. You haven't got a choice. You can't just stay grade 6 forever. But then you leave school at year 12 or whatever you left school at, and you move into adulthood. No one's forcing you to get better. You just stay in the same level of comfort. Because they're invisible glass ceilings now. And you stay in the same gig for a long time because you're loyal, so forth. That's fine. You know it, you're comfortable, and you get this incremental 1.2% lift in your payment or in your earnings every year. No, like, if you took massive action on this thing between your ears, you could earn double, triple, quadruple. But most people don't, because they're afraid to take action, and they're afraid of that pain that they're going to endure temporarily
For that action.
in that action. And I'll never forget that metaphor you shared one time.
Please share that.
That was about 3 years ago, I'd say.
You're right.
It's old. But it is though.
Yeah, well, one of my other favorite quotes, and Cal, you're on board with this, is that growth and comfort doesn't coexist.
Yeah.
By Ginny Rometty. Anyway, mate, loved having you. Thank you so much. You've given just so much gold for our audience. And where can people find you? Where can people find you?
Yeah.
How do I get socks? How can people buy them socks?
I hang out on LinkedIn. I know it's a pretty boring channel, but it's
You follow me on LinkedIn, too, almost.
yeah. I'm on Instagram as well, but Instagram, it doesn't really do it as such for me.
LinkedIn.
I
So
think
Kieran Stack, Service 101 on LinkedIn. Find them, connect with them.
Yeah.
Get some
Hello.
socks.
Get some socks.
Earn some socks.
Some socks.
One
In Australia, I can send them. If you're overseas, it's a pain in the ass, so I don't really send them because, yeah, customs get involved. And a pair of socks, hit me up. Yeah. All right. Thanks,
Brilliant.
guys. I really appreciate your time.
Hey guys, Kallum and Conor here from Connect Coaching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Unplugged podcast. We're jumping in to let you know about something really exciting. If you are a practitioner, a coach, or a trainer in the alternative therapy modality space, the Forever Client Matrix is something that we've modeled in the last 30 combined years, both Conor and my experience. And we've turned it into a 2-day intensive, and we want to give you a preview of that, the Forever Client Matrix.
Absolutely.
We want to make the bar for them to enter into that program very, very low, but have them get incredible results.
I've sold about $40 million worth, and together we've sold about $100 million worth with our teams.
That's right. We believe that trust and reliability is the currency of the future. So if you want to turn every transaction into a transformational experience, if you want to turn every prospect into a forever client, then please click on the link below in the description and get instant access now to your preview of the Forever Client Matrix.
Enjoy.